Hey guys, my name is Jerry.
My name is Anita. So we were asked to share our pro-life testimony. So we got married in November of 2019 and found out we were pregnant in January.
So when Anita told me she was pregnant, I had a whole bunch of emotions go through me. I was excited, I was joyful, I was scared, I was anxious, but at the end of the day, I knew this was God's will, and I was just joyful of being a father.
So I think we were both just initially shocked, but then come to the realization that this was the plan that God intended for us, and then we allowed the joy to kind of set in.
Yeah, and so like after a couple of weeks, we went to our first doctor's appointment, and for the first time, we actually heard the baby's heartbeat. So for me, it felt like time just froze. It was just me listening to this heartbeat, and I was thinking like, this is God's blessings to us. This is God's gift to us, and it was just a joyful moment for me.
And I remember it being especially emotional because in that moment I realized that I was going to be a mama and that this baby was inside of me, and it kind of instantly bonded us. I just wanted to do anything I could to protect this baby because we were one, we were together.
And so I think the day before we left, the doctor did take some blood samples just to make sure everything was okay with Anita and everything was okay with the baby. And so after the weekend was over, on Monday, we got a call from the PA, and the PA said that she got the lab results and wanted us to come in to discuss about it.
Mm-hmm. And so we kind of knew that didn't sound good. And knowing that something might be wrong with your baby, I was a hot mess. I was crying and like asking God to receive whatever news we were gonna get peacefully. And so we went inside, and the PA had shared with us that our baby had tested positive for Down syndrome. And so she booked an appointment with the fetal specialist the next day. And so at the fetal specialist, because COVID had begun, the pandemic had begun, I was asked to go alone just because of the risk that someone might be infected. And so I had to attend that appointment alone, and it was really difficult.
Yeah, because I felt kind of useless too, because I was stuck at work and I couldn't come for the appointment. And so it felt like Anita was just going through this emotional roller coaster by herself. And so I felt like I couldn't do anything, and I was just praying to God for everything to be okay.
Mm-hmm. And so it was at that doctor's appointment that the doctor told me that the chance of our baby having Down syndrome was anywhere from 80 to 85%. They just needed to do some anatomy scans, check certain markers, and see, what the results were going to be. And they were also going to do a more detailed blood work. And so they said that the results were going to come out in 2 weeks. But it ended up taking a month. But during that time, we just continued to pray. So we started the St. Juliana Novena, and we also started saying the rosary every night before we went to bed, and Jerry would lay his hands over my stomach and pray for baby. And we just had full faith that if it was God's will, that he would heal this child if she or he had Down syndrome.
Right, because day after day, it felt like our hearts were coming to peace. So every day after the rosary, we felt a little bit of peace. And so I think by the end of the day, when we had to go hear the results, we were like, we're okay. we're actually okay. Like we are happy because we have this opportunity to have this child. Like there's so many people in this world that don't even have this opportunity, and so we were grateful for the blessings he had given us.
So at the first fetal medicine appointment, the nurse that was sitting down with me, she had asked me that if the results came back positive for Down syndrome, what we would do with our pregnancy. And so in that moment, I remember feeling very certain that this child was placed in our lives for a reason, Down syndrome or not, that this child was a blessing. And so it honestly made me sad to think about even the option to terminate this pregnancy. But after a month later, we received a call from the doctor to go in and get the results back. And again, I was really nervous and scared, but felt at peace that God was going to give us the child that he intended. And honestly, I even told Jerry, if this baby has Down syndrome, he or she's just gonna bring so much joy into our lives.
Right.
Yeah. And so we went to the appointment, or I went to the appointment, and the results all came back negative. And the doctor said that the baby had no Down syndrome. I wanted the gender to also be a secret, but the doctor accidentally revealed that we were also having a little baby girl.
You know, and so I remember right after doctor's appointment, Anita came to my workplace, and she said, everything is normal. And I felt like there was a blessing on top of a blessing. And so I was super excited, and Anita was like, oh, by the way, we're having a baby girl. And I was like, oh my goodness. And I was full of joy and happy. I was like, it didn't matter for me whether it was a boy or a girl. I was happy that I had a child.
And so months later, we have a beautiful little girl. Her name is Ava Ann Chidanguri. She was born on August 18th. She's now 5 months, and she has brought so much joy and love and peace into our hearts.
Less sleep,
too. Definitely less sleep. But yeah, she's definitely been a blessing. And all we can say is thanks be to God. All glory and honor and praise to him.
This is our testimony. God bless.
Amen.